Hello all, Vishweshwar here. In this video, I'm gonna cover what functions are and how to use them in a Python. And using a function, by end of this video, you will be able to create a BFI calculator similar to the one we created in last video. But you will be able to use this one repeatedly for different people and for different variables. I'm also gonna cover what comments are and how to use them. And as usual, please share, like, and subscribe this video. Let me For this video, you can just go to as always go here Python 3, rename this notebook what functions are, click on the rename. Here we go. Now we have created new Jupyter notebook with the name of what functions are. So there are actually a few different ways to looking at functions. A function, only look at it as it's a collection of instructions. It's collection of code, and please notice that these lines I have wrote here are not piece of Python code, but these are comments, because to use the comments we need to put this hash sign here. For example, if I write here like what is function, another definition of a function, it's a set of instructions in program. Comments are used to comments on the code that we are going to write below. We can use it. We can use it to define what is variable, what is functions. We can tell that these two lines are comments because each of these two lines begin with the pound sign or hash sign. Function can be simply a collection of a code. Let's see an example of that. Def function 1 parenthesis, here we need to give the colon here, then use print function here, print in double inverted comma a, let's say use a here, then again another print function, print in double inverted comma a2, then again use print function in the parenthesis in double inverted comma, this is outside the function. Def is for define the following function, given a name of, we can choose, we're gonna call it function 1. We can call it any name, for example function 1 1 2 3. Let's keep it function 1 for now, then parentheses colon. A combination of all of these things are important. Def function name, parenthesis and colon, 4 spaces, print a, 4 spaces again, print r2. And these spaces in front of these two lines are really important, just like with if else statement, to show that these two lines are part of this function. If we had, for example, 4 spaces here and 5 spaces here, it will not work. As you and I can see outside of this function we have print statement. This is outside statement. Let's see what happens when we run this program? Great, we can see the output here. This is outside the function because only this line has been printed outside the function. What happened was this function called function1 has been defined as a collection of a code. These two lines of code, print a and print a2, and after that done, this line has been excluded. These two lines of a code, print a and print a2, will not be excluded, will not be run until we use this function. We call this function. To use this function or to call this function, you can just write function1. You can write here function1, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and that's it. When you run the cell, what's gonna happen? These two lines of a code will be get printed a and a2 here. And nice thing about functions, you can reuse them over and over again. We can write function 1 in the same cell, function 1 two times, and let's run. You will see that after running this cell, you will see the output a2 and a2 got printed twice. So that this is the nice thing about the function. As expected, we see a8 and a2 twice. In addition, okay, in addition to being a collection of instructions or collection of a code, functions can also be a mapping. Let's take a look at here. So guide x def function 2 parentheses, in parentheses x, enter, then return 2 multiplied by x. So let me explain this code, guys. This means define function called def function 2, which is going to take input or an argument, and that argument we're going to call it x, and in return to whoever call this function going to return 2 times x. So we are mapping the input x to the output 2 times x. Execute this cell to call this function. A is equal to fu function 2, let's put the value 3, and this says as an argument use 3 and call this function 2, and once the expression evaluated, function 2 parenthesis 3 will be returned to 2 times x, in this 2 times 3 which is 6, and that number 6 will be assigned to variable a, and that number 6 is called a return value or output. Let's see if this expression works by running the cell. Let's print a here, and let's run the cell. Yes, you are able to see the output 6 here. As I explained you, once you run this cell, you will able to see the 2 times 2 multiplied by 3. Here value of x is 3, so 2 into 3 is 6, and this 6 value will get assigned to the variable a. Let's try using this function few more times. If you write b is equal to function 2, and in the parentheses use 4 here, and print b here, Let's see what we see in the output. Run the cell. Yes, you will able to see 8 in the output because value of x is 4 and 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. So here you go. And we do, if you write use multiple times, let's say x is equal to 5, x is equal to 6, it will get multiplied with the 2 and that value will get finally get assigned to the variable. And what if you try to call this function without any arguments? So for example, d is equal to function 2 without any arguments, and let's try to print d here with the parenthesis. Let's try to run the cell. You will see the error function 2 is missing one required positional argument x. It is actually giving us an error saying function 2 is missing one, as I said, required positional argument x. This was an example of a function that maps one argument to return value or output value. Is it possible to have multiple argument in a single function? Then answer is yes. It is possible to have multiple arguments in a same function. For that you can write, let's see the example, def function 3 in the parenthesis x comma space y, at the end we put the colon here, and in return use x plus y. This means let's define a function called function 3. Then this function is going to take two arguments x and y and return x plus y. Let's load this function by running this cell. In the next cell, let's write e is equal to function 3 and put the values for the arguments x and y. Let's put 1 comma 2. It should be evaluated when you, let's use the print function to evaluate this variable e here, and let's run this cell. You will see the value in the output is 3 because value of x argument is 1, value of y argument is 2, and once you uh, print this with the return value, you will see the 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Okay, so we saw two different layers of using functions so far. The first one was as a set of a code, a collection of a code, and then second one was mapping. Now it's even possible to combine them both together. Let's see how that works. Def function 4, put the parenthesis here and use the arguments here. Only one argument here. I use the colon here. For spaces as usual, print x, and then and then in return, then return 3 star x, 3 star x. This function also, we forgot to give one print function here. print in double inverted comma still in this function. This function basically says take the argument x, then print x and print still it is in the function, then return 3 times x. Whoever call this function, let's run this cell. Let's try to call this function. Okay, return is outside the function. We are facing the syntax error here. Okay, then again run this. Okay, fine. We have resolved the error. There was space issue here. We didn't give the space before, so now we have given the 4 spaces here. Be careful while giving the spaces here. And let's try calling this function with f is equal to function 4 in the parenthesis 4. Let's what's gonna happen here is when this expression is evaluated, function 4 we go to this line, x is printed, we go to this line and x is printed. That means number 4 will be printed, and then string it will be printed, and 3 times x, which is 12, will be returned to this expression that will be assigned finally to the f. So once we run this cell, you see that so you are able to see the output 4 and still in this function. And once you print f and run the cell, you will see the value 12, because the return value is 3 into 4 is 12. Let's see another example of the function. Def function 5 in the parentheses, let's use some characters here, some string, or let's say some arguments. Use colon here, 4 spaces, print some argument, and then in double quotes use one more print function here, print in parenthesis in double inverted comma ddd. You can use you can print anything you want. And of course, let's try to run this cell. Okay, here we are seeing a syntax error in the first line. What is the error here? Invalid syntax. Okay, here we need to give the underscore, and now try to run the cell here. Okay, still line 2, invalid syntax. Okay, so error has been removed. Here we forgot to give the underscore here. So you need to be careful when you are using the any character string here. You need to put the and two different words here, you need to give the underscore here. So we have loaded, by running the cell we have loaded the function. So let's, in this cell you can call this function function 5 and in parentheses put the 4, and when we run the cell you are okay. We are facing the name error here. Name error is some argument is not defined. Okay, okay, we have, great, now error has been resolved because here we use some arguments and here we used in the print function argument. So we have removed yes here, so error has been resolved. And when we run the cell you are able to see the output is 4 and triple D, where these two print functions got printed out here. So one thing to note here is that even though function phi is given an argument, we don't have a return value. It's actually technically possible to say, let's say, if we write here f is equal to assign us, here what we have done is value to assign whatever return value of a function phi to a f. But right now we don't have any return statement here, so let's create BMI calculator here. So let's say we have three people here. We have hypothetical person, let's say name YK here. Let's create name is equal to, okay, let me put the comment here with the hashtag BMI calculator with for different people. As we spoke about initially in this video that we are going to create a BMI calculator for different people. Then name is equal to JJ, height is equal to height, let's say in meter or milli is equal to 2, weight in kg is equal to, let's say, 90. Another person name 2 is equal to VV, height in meter here we need to put 1. I put L here, my mistake here. So height in meters is equal to 1.8 here. Weight in kg is equal to, let's say, 70. Create another person where another variable for a third person here. Name is equal to LL. Enter, then height in meter 3 is equal to 2.5. Then weight in kg is equal to 60. What if we wanted to calculate BMI for each person and determine if each person is overweight or not? We can do this by writing a simple function. Let's try to run this cell. Okay, now we are in a new cell. Let's define a function def. Let's call this function BMI underscore calculator, and in the parentheses name. This function is going to take three arguments: name, comma, height underscore m, and then comma, weight underscore kg. Put colon here in this function, right? And BMI is equal to weight underscore kg divided by height underscore yeah double star 2. This says that height in meters, which is square of height, let's put the circular parenthesis here, and what we could do is we could return BMI here. Let's do something different. We're gonna write print double quote BMI and again use print function and only put the BMI. So this is going to print BMI of the given person, and then if BMI is less than 25, then print in double inverted comma in the parenthesis this person is not overweight. But to show this person's name, you can just rather than using the print function, we can use the return value here, return statement here. Return is equal to this person is not overweight. Here we forgot to give the colon here. So in the below statement, after the if statement, we could return name plus, and in double inverted comma, not overweight. Here the assumption is name. Assumption here is that name is a string, and when you have two strings you can concatenate them together with the name plus double quote, not overweight. Then let's write else colon return name plus over overweight. This line, so let's run this cell. Here we are facing expected intended block. Okay, now let's run this cell. Line 6 we are facing expected intended block error here 1 2 3 4 5 6. Again we are facing error here invalid syntax in the line 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Again try. Okay, error has been resolved. Here if you see we have given the 8 spaces here. Because this else statement is in the function BMI calculator and this line is in the else statement within the BMI calculator function. So let's run this cell. Then let's write result 1 is equal to BMI calculator parenthesis name 1 comma height underscore y1 comma weight underscore kg1. This is for the one person, and let's do the same thing for the second person and third person. Here we forgot to give the underscore. Let's change it to the yum2 and yum3 and change it to the kg2 and kg3 for the second and third person. Here let's run this here. We are facing name. Great. So issue has been resolved, guys. So did not know what was the error, but made few changes here. I changed the value of a height for a third person is a 3 in meters, and I kept the weight of the third person is same, name of the third person is same. I didn't made any changes here, but issue has been resolved, error got resolved, and we are able to see BMI, that is the body mass index for the three people. That is BMI for first person is 22.5, BMI for second person 21.600, and there are a few other decimals as well, and BMI for third person is 6.66. And to get the result we can print result 1, then print in parenthesis result 2, then print in parenthesis result 3. Let's run this cell. All for all the three people, they are not overweight. Actually, we forgot to put. You are able to see the output here. Okay, now I have a little task for you. Create a function called, let's create a function called, let's say, convert miles into kilometers. Convert miles into kilometers with a function called converts, and argument here we given is miles, and you need to convert it into the kilometers. That is the return value of yours. Here you can use this formula. Kilometer formula is kilometer is equal to 1.6 into miles. To answer to this question, just try to search from your end. This is the task for you guys, and please subscribe to my channel, subscribe to this video if you want to see more interesting videos in a Python tutorial series. I hope you guys understood this video, understood the what is function, how to use the function, how to use function to create BMI for the different people in this video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.